Okay, so for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be going back in time and we're going to be looking at the journeys, the great journeys of life before the First Fleet arrived. So this topic is called the Age of Exploration. The Age of Exploration is a name given to the years from around 1400 to 1700. It was a time where many explorers, navigators, and traders left Europe and Asia in search of new lands. This map will be in your history folder so you can get a close-up look of it, but this is a screenshot and it shows lots of different explorers. It has Spanish explorers, the routes that they took to find new land. It's got the English explorers, the Dutch explorers, the Portuguese explorers, the Spanish, and the Chinese. So you'll be able to click into this and have a look at all the different routes and paths that these different explorers traveled. Today's maps of the world are detailed and accurate. Back then, the world was only partly mapped, and the maps changed as people learned more. It was the job of many explorers to create these maps. Today, sailors can also use a GPS to know where they are and where they are going. Just like adults use GPSs in their cars to go from one place to another, it takes them on their roads and different routes and different places that they need to go, they can use their GPS. Back then, explorers navigated or found their way using the stars or special tools such as a chronometer. Again, many explorers helped develop and test these tools. So here's a picture of a chronometer. You need to just have a think about it. You don't need to write it down. What do you think that this might have been used for? So because ships were powered by the wind, explorers also had to be very skilled sailors. They also had to be prepared for the voyages to take a long time. Some journeys that they took even lasted years. So now we're going to be focusing on the Barbarossa Brothers. So these are brothers who sailed from the Barbary coast in northern Africa back in the 1500s. The Barbarossa Brothers' career took off when they successfully captured European vessels, including 2 Papal galleries and a Sardinian warship early in their career. So these 2 brothers are actually pirates. They became rich through their pirate adventures on the Mediterranean Sea. They had many pirate adventures and they were violent, they used to fight, they used to create enemies. They spent years of fighting against a variety of enemies, including a fleet that was specially created by the Pope in hopes of exonerating the Barbarossa brothers and their reign of terror. Here's a picture of them on the left. They don't look very nice, do they? So one of the Barbarossa's pirates' most famous battle was in 1538 with his victory at Preveza, Greece. This was in Greece, with a combined fleet fighting against the Barbarossa that included ships from Venice, Genoa, Spain, Portugal, Malta, and the Papal States. The key to his victory was to use galleys instead of sailing ships, since galleys were driven by oars and did not depend on the wind, which made them easy to maneuver. Barbarossa was able to defeat the powerful combined force by only using 122 galleys against 300 sailing ships. Barbarossa's victory opened Tripoli and the eastern Mediterranean to Ottoman rule. Years later, Barbarossa continued to lead additional military campaigns and at one point even helped the French to overtake the Habsburgs in 1543 and 1544. The end to Barbarossa's lucrative pirate career was in 1546, when he died in Constantinople. The Barbarossa brothers are 2 of history's most famous pirates who left a lasting mark on the Mediterranean. So today people can travel long distance quite easily. through cars, planes, trains, and ships can take us wherever we want to go. 500 years ago, though, these forms of transport did not exist. People traveled by sea, but sea travel was much more dangerous and difficult than it is today. Pirates were a real threat, just like we read about the Barbarossa Brothers. They were a real threat. People were also afraid of creatures such as sea dragons or one-eyed monsters. I'm going to add this picture to your history folder so you can see a close-up. I want you to have a look at what creatures can you see. What would you call these monsters? And what might people have thought? Why might people have thought that they were monsters? Have a look. Do they look like regular animals? No. They've got lots of chop and change of different animals within one. So your job for this week, your history activity for this week, is to choose an animal from the image that you do not recognize. I know I can see lots and lots of different animals that I don't recognize, probably because there's different parts of animals all in one. You need to draw this animal and give it a new name. You need to also describe its characteristics. So if you were describing its characteristics, you would be looking at what color it is, how many legs, what its name is, maybe the texture. I can see some scales, how big it is. Does it just live underwater, or can it go on the land too? Because up the back of that photo, I can see that there's land animals as well. So you need to describe all its different characteristics and recreate it basically. You're just going to draw it. So you can take a photo and upload this to your Google document, and that's your history activity for this week.